Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you the best Vault Hunter for you in Borderlands 4. Now I figured I'd do an updated guide here as there's been some changes to the game and I want to talk about some of the most fun to play characters in this game. Now each character is powerful in their own right, so play who you find most interesting, but I'll be covering all the best strengths and weaknesses of each of these characters. One fun thing is all characters have a way to get infinite ammo and all have very powerful builds. Now, my personal favorite character to play as is Vex here. She's also voiced by Luna Snow in Marvel Rivals and Hades' two main characters, so you may recognize the voice. However, I really like her and she's great for beginners too because one of her skill trees has a pet cat. It's not the most powerful, it's actually one of the weaker ones, but it's actually very good when you're leveling and going through the game because it can help tank for you. My personal favorite during leveling was the Dead Ringer here, which gives you a melee and a ranged summon. You can have 3 of them out at a time, but the best at the end game is her incarnate with Eldritch Blast. If you watch me for my Baldur's Gate 3 content, these Eldritch Blasts are just as cool. However, first I'm going to start off what I think to be the strongest character and build in Borderlands 4 with Harlowe. Now, Harlowe's very good on her own, and she's also amazing if you're playing with friends. This is because she can actually give everybody their action skill back, which is just absurd how fast you can get this back with certain shotguns. She also has a build that gets infinite amount of critical hits because she'll deal crits after her action skill, which is equipped, and yeah. It's pretty crazy to see infinite crits like this, and they'll literally just chain around like you're seeing there. So yeah, crits in this game, especially if you have a Jacob's part, will bounce around to nearby enemies, which gives you some insane area of effect damage. But she turns literally everything into a critical hit, which is just absurd, and it's just, this is one of the craziest builds in Borderlands 4. She also has another build that is extremely overpowered too, but this one is honestly, if you're going to look to play with friends, one of you guys should run this because, again, she can entangle enemies which have this rainbow ability here, and then you get your action skill back from this. So, yeah, very strong in any situation and just a general powerhouse. She has the fastest clear times, again, some of the hardest content in the game. And yeah, seeing that many critical hits is actually pretty funny. And this is not even getting to mention that she actually gets her ammo back when she does crits. So, pretty strong and overpowerful. And yeah, she can do some pretty silly stuff like what you're just about to see here, where you watch the health bar at the top just go disappear really quickly. This boss has a big resistance to this damage type too, but yeah, this is a powerful build with infinite crits. Basically, this whole green skill tree, she has something she throws out, buffs herself up, and then your gun does absurd amounts of damage, bonus damage, you name it. And you get lifesteal, you can get shield off of it, infinite ammo, you get 5 ammo added on a critical hit, so you can use heavy ordinances like grenades and get those back. She also is extremely accurate in this build. It's a very fun one. Now, I'm also going to cover the red skill tree because this is another top 5 build in the game. Unfortunately, the blue skill tree, well, you can use it for mobbing. It's kind of like Maya in Borderlands 2, but just worse. Unfortunately, the red and the green are just so much better. This is because the red skill tree has one of the craziest abilities I've seen in a Borderlands game, and they had to nerf it so much before the game's launch because what this does is it takes your entire action skill damage, adds 4% of it to your bullets, and some of these guns can shoot like crazy amounts. And yeah, it lasts for 8 seconds, but you can continually get your action skill back using that same thing I talked about, which also gives your teammates the action skill back too. And what's crazy about this is a lot of our abilities give us even further action skill damage, and our final capstone further enhances it. And here's what this looks like in practice. So you shoot off the action skill, then you can activate it again to explode it, and then all that damage gets added to our gun. You can see there, it's melting this health bar really quickly. They actually had to nerf this quite a bit. It used to be even crazier, but it's still nuts. And what's crazy is you actually can get a lot of critical hits off on this build, but you also get your action skill back so fast, so you can continually keep popping this and keep getting the bonus to the damage there. And you're going to see our action skill down the bottom is back already, so we can pop it again. That's the crazy thing about the green skill tree and the red skill tree, and yeah, you just continually keep doing that. So fun, powerful, and it's great. Teammates are solo play. So yeah, I want to start off with Harlowe because I think she's an underrated pick and not enough people are playing her. And if you're playing with friends, someone should, because confirmative reality is such a powerful skill for everybody. Because when you shoot an entangled enemy, she and all enemies restore their action skill cooldowns 1% per shot. You don't even need to take the full 3 stacks. That's the even better part about this. You can take 1 or 2 points, and you saw how fast we got that back. Even on certain weapons with extra bullets, it's just nuts. Next, I want to talk about what I think to be the second best character in the game with Rafa. Now, Rafa also has infinite ammo, much like Harlowe, with her ability to get the crits giving back ammo. He has it much easier. He gets it at level 6. Bullet Buddy Deluxe. So this is in the red skill tree. His red skill tree is by far his best, although there is interesting builds to be had with his green and blue. I think the red just takes the cake by far as the best because Bullet Buddy Deluxe and Instant are both so good. Basically, this gives you infinite ammo. So you get yourself into combat here, and then you pop the Bullet Buddy Deluxe, and you can keep firing. You see the bottom right, the ammo does not go down until this is done, which means you can use some of the more powerful guns in the game that run out of ammo really quickly and continually keep firing them. This is pretty absurd. We also are moving around really fast because his abilities here give him fast movement speed, and his damage scaling goes insane. So this is even fully crazy. This gets even better the further we get, but plus 140% total damage dealt, 40% bonus kinetic damage, 320% extra gun damage, 28% extra melee, 175% extra skill damage, and that gets even higher and higher the longer that we're in our overdrive here. So yeah, while we're shooting away with that infinite ammo, we're going crazy. You can get that gun damage to go upwards of 600%. I have it at 420 now, but yeah, 600+%, absolutely absurd. This means you can use some of the other weapons here which have a longer reload time than they have bullets, because then you use this and you can spam it. It's hilarious using some of these weapons with this because, yeah, you can shoot forever and, yeah, not have to worry about reloading. This one would literally be out of bullets like that. See, fast reloads, but either way, this is fun. And if you were disappointed with Metroid Prime 4 like I was, Apophis Lance gives you all the same benefits of being Samus Aran, but it's in this game. Now, this is a fun one. I actually posted a build because he's got a crazy setup with this, which gives him infinite amounts of use for it. Every character has their own weird gimmicky builds. I like this one because it actually is balancing out the damage. So we have a damage increase in the red skill tree that makes us very inaccurate, and we can actually stack this in our favor to make us even more accurate than that can give us. So yeah, a lot of good builds here. I've posted builds for all three skill trees, but I think the red one is just by far the best to stick with. Either full red and go ricochet on the left-hand side, or go full red, or half red and half blue and get all these bonuses to gun handling. Now back to Vex from the start. I really like Vex, but I feel like she's the popular option, so I wanted to talk about those other two builds because you may like them as well. But Vex can kind of do what they do, but she's more defensive. The other two are offensive powerhouses, and in a game like Borderlands 4 where that really matters, the defensiveness is also quite nice. It's just a little bit slower clear times on some of the higher bosses. Now, her whole thing is at late game using the Eldritch Blast here because you can get some insane damage buffs. So this one here gives us 20% gun damage, 3 stacks. We can turn that to 6 stacks. We can get gun crit damage increases. We got lifesteal, 40% lifesteal, which turns to bonus kinetic damage from this. And then we can either use our health to do our Eldritch Blast here, or this one here, which makes it chain around. It's kind of crazy against some bosses. And yeah, we also get increased fire rate, and then we can activate kill skills when we crit enemies. So she's actually going to scale really well later on in the game because you can get infinite crits, and then that means you're actually getting all the kill skills on bosses that may not have enemies to farm that. So I guess for like the late game, this is what it looks like. So her Eldritch Blast with the witchy trigger finger gives her ammo back. So you see, we actually shred down bosses very fast, and we got all of our kill skills and everything stacked up very quickly there. That is really quick. This weapon is very good against this boss in particular, and I wasn't using the last ones, but this just illustrates how good Witchy Trigger Finger is because this not only gives you your ammo back, but it gives you a gun damage boost. There's 3 stacks for 45% bonus or extra gun damage. Actually pretty crazy. So she's fun to play, very powerful, and this is the best build. Now, I actually think I did a video on the top 10 pieces of gear in this game, and I think she has the craziest item we've ever seen in a Borderlands game. I'm just going to talk about this quickly because it's very defining for her. She gets lifesteal 10% added to all of her damage. She has other skills that give it too. But now it not only applies her health, but her shield, and it gives over shield, which means you can use some of the later items in the game, which can drain your shields to boost up your gun damage. And she just fuels that because the extra gun damage is going to give her more life steal. It comes all the way around. It's really fun. Now, Trouble is sometimes up to trouble. It gets stuck on walls sometimes, which we just saw there. I like Trouble, and I played with Trouble during my my playthrough. They did change Trouble to teleport around like that a little bit more frequently in the latest patch. I really like Trouble. Fun, but if you're doing endgame content, it's going to be a little bit weaker. However, it's great if you're doing solo because Trouble actually does draw aggro pretty well and has some really good buffs to help it. It did get a change recently as well, where it used to do ranged attacks, which didn't receive any of the buffs that it got to its damage. That's now fixed. It also has a few different skills that you can get, like this one here, it powers in, and it actually is pulling in enemies here. If we had enemies to pull in, does area of effect damage. It has a few different skills that are actually really fun for it, but honestly, I do think that the other skill tree is a little bit better. Now, the Unsealed here is really nice. If you use Unsealed, it can actually make Trouble mark enemies so that whenever you attack them, you do a 50% bonus or extra gun damage, which is nice. Double Trouble's cool too because it can create illusions that do a little bit extra damage. You can have 3 illusions out at a time. And then there's also the Trouble Bubble, which gives it overshield. It has some cool augments, but I do think we'll get some more buffs to the Phase Familiar because it doesn't hold up in an Ultimate Vault Hunter 6 whatsoever compared to like the blue and the green skill tree. The blue skill tree is the most interesting one because the bottom right skill tree will give you basically, so we summon our clones, and when we do this, they actually lose a little bit of health over time. So they're continually draining health, and that speeds up over time. Now, the bottom right skill tree actually makes it so that they can get that refresh. So you got a bit more resource management here. So you got the gun versions of them, you got the Reapers. I like the Reapers because the Reapers can actually heal themselves pretty good. But there's like 3 main fun builds that we can do using these. The first one here is building around all 3 of the both the Reapers that are at range and close here with the Dark Pack. This lets us equip 2 augments, which means that we can take the Coven here, which will give us health regeneration or crit chance, and it's 10% crit chance. Actually crazy, because we can set up other sets of this build. I also like the Hellish Harvest here because this gives us lifesteal on our minions that are Reapers, so you can go full in on the Reapers. And there's the Grim Reaper capstone as well, which lets you actually summon in a full-on Grim Reaper. So you can summon this in, it's an even stronger one, and it'll go around doing melee attacks. I like the Hellish Harvest though because it can give them a bunch of life steals, so they sustain themselves even further. But yeah, these are pretty strong. And then the Heirloom here, other capstone for the Spectres. What's crazy is it actually works with Gaster Bait here, where you can make your clone take your gun. And if you use this one, you can actually make it take a heavy ordnance. So you can get them shooting off rocket launchers, and it's really funny. But honestly, the green skill tree for Vex is just their best at the end game, with blue coming close, but I would say it's like an A tier build. Now, Amon's in a weird spot. He really likes to use this Forge Wall here, and then use heavy ordnances. That's kind of the end game loop for him because he can get infinite amounts of heavy ordnance. And you can see there, it's pretty good damage in Ultimate Vault Hunter 6, but it's a little bit lower, and you do run the risk because ordnances do explode like that if you get something close, so it can be a little bit unintended like that. But honestly, Amon's not as bad as some online make him out to be. He is a bit weaker than the others, but in all honesty, it's not that bad. You can lay down some good damage, and he's very tanky. This is because his scored skill tree here gives him a big shield. They actually updated it to that it doesn't block his screen as much, which is really nice. It doesn't do a crazy amount of damage, but it can be decent while you're playing through the game. And especially with the Eternal Winter, which turns the 3rd one into a big wave whenever you're swinging this around. And even more, it doesn't consume your vengeance, so you can keep in this as much as you can. It actually refills it. And that's what this looks like. So the shield doesn't hold it up as much, but you see, they don't do crazy damage, but they're not bad. Like, this is an Ultimate Vault Hunter 6. Actually, not terrible. I've posted in the past, and I've gotten a lot of people say that it's not very quick. It isn't like the best damage for him, but it's not that terrible, I guess. You just continually keep spamming that, and you see the orange bar in the middle. It's full. Like, you can spam this till the sun goes down. It's actually pretty nuts. You don't get the same amount of damage, but yeah, it's powerful. My personal preference is to use the heavy ordnances, which I'll get to in a second, but you see the clear time is not that good. This is the heavy ordnance. We can then pull out this, and that wall boosts their damage, and it just shreds through the health bars a lot quicker. And yeah, as long as we hit a target, we get infinite ammo. That is because of the Tail of the Comet here. Whenever we deal ordnance damage, there's a chance to do a status effect that deals damage over time, which is a status, which means that whenever we apply status to an enemy, there's a chance to partially restore his shield and ammo. 25% chance, 15 shield, 30 ammo. 15% shield's kind of nice. It keeps us tanky, but 30% ammo gives us our ammo back, and we proc this all the time. Furthermore, his red skill tree, which is his melee focused one, but it has his best ability here with Berserk. So when we use that wall that I was talking about, we're going to get a slow immunity and bonus cryo damage. So it's 30% bonus damage. And then with there is only red, if we keep killing targets, we get 4 seconds more time on the 15-second timer. And it can go up to 600% bonus damage. So this actually gets rolling pretty good. It's hard to trigger that though, because we would want this one here, My Touch is Death. If there's some way, whenever the level cap increases, the Slippy Grenade will trigger this, will actually be really good. And he'll actually be an unstoppable beast when that happens. But until then, he's still really strong using these 2 skill trees. Now, the green skill tree is usable. You have axes, and one thing I want to mention with the axes, you can actually pull them out and melee with them. However, it's not really that strong. It's serviceable if you want to do the full game with it. I'd recommend if you wanted to play Amon, try all 3 of them out. The Forge Fist really isn't that good. It's best just to take this to power up the blue skill tree at late levels. Blue is going to be the best for leveling, in my opinion. It doesn't even need to have ordinances in the early game. It's just that shield is so nice to have. This one's a bit more, this is a fun to play build, but not that strong. And later on, it's going to be cool because you summon in Forge Drones, which can deal melee damage. And I think that's going to be strong whenever we have this here, my touch is death, because then we can make this build even stronger by having the drones fly around and deal damage for us, because his class ones kind of suck, but there's one that gives us 4 different robots to fly around attacking enemies. So I think Amon will scale well, but just not that powerful at the current moment. Honestly, though, I think that this is my favorite. Using the purple rocket launcher, which shoots really fast like this, is actually pretty silly and strong. So, yeah, let me know which of these you're most interested in trying. I try to answer comments as quickly as possible. If you have any questions regarding these, please let me know in the comments below. And, yeah, Borderlands 4, a lot of fun. Yeah, it's a great game. Check out my other Borderlands 4 content. I also post builds for everything, tier list, you name it. I probably covered it. And I hope you guys all have an amazing day. Subscribe if you enjoyed.